The man poured out a bottle of poison, praying that vultures wouldn't devour his son's body. But shortly after they left, a vulture landed on the boy. It pecked down fiercely. The pain roused the boy from unconsciousness. He threw the vulture off the cliff. Only then did he realize he was trapped on the cliff. He shouted desperately for his father, but never heard a response, so he tried to climb up. The smooth rock walls offered no footholds. He couldn't find any leverage. He could only cling to a crack with his hands, his whole body hanging from the steep cliff. Then the weather changed. A torrential rain poured down in an instant. The rock walls grew extremely wet. The boy could no longer hold on. His strength was gradually exhausted. As the water rose with the rain, he summoned his courage and jumped suddenly. The next day, the boy woke up in the mud. His leg was severely injured, and there was no one around for miles. He crawled laboriously to a puddle to hydrate, and unexpectedly found an earthworm. After resting for a while, he took off his shoes, but his foot had swollen terribly. The boy stuck his foot between two stones, and twisted it hard. He found branches to splint his ankle, making himself a simple support. He walked on in pain, finally reaching the top of the cliff. There he saw his own tombstone. The day he fell into the abyss, the entire tribe thought he was dead. When the boy learned his father had left, he lay on the ground, helpless. Suddenly he heard wolf howls. A pack was approaching quickly. He had to retreat. The wolves chased him relentlessly. The boy tried to climb a tree to hide, but a wolf bit his leg. He pulled out his dagger and stabbed the wolf. The crisis was temporarily resolved, yet the wolves lingered under the tree until dawn, when they dispersed, leaving only the injured wolf behind. The boy made a spear from a stick. Approaching the wolf slowly, he raised the spear, ready to strike, but the wolf opened its eyes. After a painful inner struggle, he abandoned the idea. When the boy tried to touch it, the wolf bared its fangs, so he took out a rope and tied the wolf's mouth to prevent it from biting. He carried the wolf to a lake, cleaning its wound. Then they took shelter together in a cave. After a period of recovery, the boy prepared to return to the tribe. Before leaving, he said goodbye to the wolf, but as he set off on his journey home, the wolf followed closely behind. No matter how many times the boy drove it away, it refused to leave, so they decided to journey together. The man was about to turn into a zombie. He originally wanted to end his own life, but looking into the distance at his only 3-month-old daughter, Carl finally realized how selfish he was being. He remembered his wife's last words to him before she died, so he decided to take his daughter to a safe place while he still had his senses. But halfway there, his daughter suddenly started crying. Carl knew his daughter was missing her mom, so he took out his wife's perfume and sprayed it around. His daughter really stopped crying. The sky gradually grew dark. Carl finally found an abandoned rescue station. There, he met a surviving nurse. The nurse kindly helped him treat his wounds. Carl saw that she was very careful and seemed good with children, so he wanted to leave his daughter in her care. But just then, the nurse took off her wig. It was clear she had a terminal illness. Carl had to give up that idea. The next day, he said goodbye to the nurse and set off again. Before he walked far, the zombie virus flared up. Carl weakly held onto a tree branch. With only 9 hours left before he turned, his body began to collapse uncontrollably. When Carl woke up again, he found his daughter was gone. He hurried to his feet to look for her, only to find that a girl had saved his daughter. So the three decided to travel together. On the way, they found a RV. There were plenty of supplies inside the RV. The owner of the RV, seeing the survivors, planned to give the RV to Carl because his whole family had been infected. To avoid hurting others, he was going to take his family away. The man turned around and left in despair. Just then, 4 gunshots rang out from behind. Carl picked up the gun from the ground. He really couldn't hold on anymore. Suddenly, his daughter spoke. It was the first time his daughter called him daddy. Carl felt the responsibility of being a father. He had to get his daughter to the safe zone. As time passed, the zombie virus kept eroding his body. Carl knew he couldn't hold on much longer. When he saw the rotten meat on the ground, he thought of a good plan. With a heavy heart, he kissed his daughter for the last time. Then he skewered the rotten meat on a branch. He put on a muzzle and tied his hands with a rope. In this way, Carl carried the 2 girls and continued on his way. He didn't know how long he walked until they met a group of people looking for the girl. Everyone was shocked by the scene in front of them. The tribe leader wanted to help him end his suffering quickly. The girl reached out to stop him. Under everyone's confused gaze, she took out Carl's wife's perfume and sprayed it a few times in the air. Carl, who smelled the familiar scent, knew his daughter was safe. Only then did he fall down in peace. Back at the tribe, the people lifted the baby's clothes and saw the 2 characters thank you. All of them were deeply moved.